StudyIQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Divedi. Welcome to my daily current affairs class where we will learn the significant events that have happened since the past 24 hours. Not only that, but how to apply that information with the help of prelims MCQs. Now, as we see that prelims are becoming more challenging by each passing year, so this will prove beneficial. This class will prove beneficial for you who are going to appear for the upcoming UPSC preliminary examination. Before I begin with the session, I would like to inform you about the P2I batch for which we are closing our admissions on 30th of June. So please take admission in these batches. Discount is still available. This is for those students who want to appear for the UPSC 2024 and do not want to join multiple courses. That means it's a one-stop solution for prelims, mains and interview. From study materials to mains test series to prelims test series, daily answer writing practice, current affairs program, MCQs which are based on static as well as current part. Other than that, study material and a mains residential program for those students who are wanting everything at one place. This is available at a very affordable cost at 70,000 rupees. But if you use the code PD Live, you will get it for 29,999 only. We have 3 separate batches, one for complete Hindi, one for complete English and a hybrid batch English. So please avail your discount by using the code PD Live. We have limited seats and 30th of June is the last date. Moving ahead with the various events that we are going to cover today, let's start with the first, honors in different countries. We have to match the following pairs, the honors and the country in which it is given, as we see that the Prime Minister of India is visiting myriad countries and achieving the highest honors in these countries. So that is why it is important we know about them. Order of the Rising Sun, it is given in Thailand. Order of the Golden Eagle, Kazakhstan. Grand Companion of the Order of Loghu, Papua New Guinea. I hope you can answer this question well because I have covered either one of them in one of many episodes and classes that I take. So, how many of the pairs given above is or are correct? Order of the Rising Sun is the highest order given in the country of Japan and not Thailand. So that makes the first statement to be incorrect. First pair to be incorrect. While Order of the Golden Eagle, rightly so, is given in Kazakhstan. And Grand Companion of the Order of Loghu is given in Papua New Guinea, which the Prime Minister received recently when he was on a visit to Papua New Guinea, the first ever visit by an Indian Prime Minister. So, how many pairs given above is or are correct? First is not correct, second and third are correct, 2 only will be the correct answer. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has received the highest honor in Egypt, which was conferred by the Egyptian president, and this was the Order of the Nile. Let's talk about it. It is given to heads of states, crown princes and vice presidents. It can be given to both Egyptians and foreigners, and to those who give invaluable services to the country or humanity, both to the country or humanity. Whoever has received the Order of the Nile will be saluted upon their death. And it is made up of a pure gold collar which consists of 3 squares, gold units with pharaonic symbols. First is for the protection of the state against evil, then prosperity and happiness brought by the Nile, and then wealth and endurance. So it could be asked in your preliminary examination. Keep in mind. When we talk about the Order of the Golden Eagle, it is from Kazakhstan and it can be given to both foreigners and Kazakhs. Then Japan's Golden Order of the Rising Sun is another very important high honor. When we talk about Order of the Loghu, it is conferred upon foreigners and Papua New Guineans, and it has been received by our Prime Minister lately. Consider the following statements with respect to brain death. For a brain death to occur, there must be a clear evidence that serious brain damage has occurred and it cannot be cured. That means it is irreversible. A person will not get healthier from the brain ever again. That is brain death. Second, India enacted a law in 1994 to legalize brain stem death so that the organs can be donated of such brain dead people. Brain death is the same as coma or the permanent vegetative state. How many statements given above is or are not correct? The first statement is definitely correct. For a brain death to occur, it should be established within tests that can be taken in 6 hours. First test, after that 6 hours after the 6 hours of first test, second test. So in these two tests, it should be established that the brain death is permanent in nature and it can never be cured. So first statement for that matter becomes definitely correct. The second is yes, India has enacted a law to legalize brain stem death. That is also correct. And the brain death is not the same as coma, because in coma, the person is breathing with the help of brain muscles and the person can get better over a period of time. While in brain death, a person can only breathe through with the help of a ventilator. So this is the difference between brain death and coma. First statement is correct, second is also correct, third is not correct. We had to select the not correct one, right? So one only will be the correct answer. A 43-year-old man from Odisha helped to save lives of 4 different people in 3 different states. And this is through organ transplantation and organ donation. The basic aim of legalizing brain death is to help with transplantation and organ donation. He was declared brain dead after suffering a severe brain injury. Brain death is basically the total and irreversible loss of brain function, which also includes involuntarily activity that is necessary to sustain life. Like we breathe involuntarily. That is the function of the brain. When that gets damaged, you cannot breathe without a ventilator. It's a condition under which the donation of vital organs is the most common, and it causes the total brain death, causes the total cessation of all brainstem function. And brain death is not a coma or a persistent vegetative state, because a patient who is in coma typically has some brain functions left. Other than, if we talk about the brain death, no functions are there. When a person is brain dead, no part of the brain is functioning any longer. How can it occur? First, it can occur through trauma of the brain. If somebody suffers a severe blow to the brain gets damaged and brain death can occur. Cerebrovascular injury such as a brain stroke or aneurysm. Anoxia can also lead to brain death. Anoxia is a situation when a person is revived from drowning or after a stroke has occurred. But during that period, if oxygen is not reaching the brain, that causes anoxia. And brain tumor is also one of the reasons. In India, brain stem death, who determines it? It can be determined by a panel of 4 physicians. First is the treating physician, the one who is treating the patient. Second, a person who represents the treating hospital. He is basically a physician. Then an independent specialist is asked to be a part of the panel, and a neurologist or neurosurgeon. These all make up the 4 people panel. And then a test is done twice in a gap of 6 hours, and this is an apnea test. This team is not associated with transplantation team. It's a different team. And based on that, a decision can be taken if the organs from that person can be donated to other people who are in need of it. And India has enacted a law in 1994, although most of the Indian states have legislated upon such things, but few states are yet to accept it. Consider the following pairs: drones and UAV. We have to match the country of origin or manufacturing, we can say. First, sharp sword, UK. Second, wing loong. Second, China. And Karar, UAE. So how many pairs given above is or are correct? Sharp sword is actually China's drone, okay, and not UK's. Wing loong, second, is definitely China's. And Karar is Iran's first armed drone and not the UAE. So only the second pair is correct. One only will be the correct answer. The US President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, they have welcomed India's plans to procure General Atomics MQ-9B high altitude long endurance unmanned aerial vehicles. We have already operated the MQ-9A drones, alright. These will be assembled in India. That means it will give us an opportunity to manufacture and apply indigenous parts in this particular drone. There are talks about more indigenous products being used in this particular drone. Generally, it is 8 to 9% for the current period. It is being asked to raise it to 13 to 15% under the Atmanirbhar Bharat and defense sector as well. This will help India in having intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance capability, which will be increased for the Indian Armed Forces. General Atomics will also establish a facility This facility is comprehensive global maintenance, repair and overhaul facility. That means manufacturing will be done over here. Assembled, not manufacturing. Manufacturing is the production, and then when those parts are brought here, when they are assembled, it is assemblance. So beg your pardon, it's assemblance and not manufacturing. The estimated cost is 3,072 million US dollars, but there are talks that we have to decrease it. There is negotiation. Now, 9B Predator of MQ, these are actually a very important drone. It can provide us humanitarian assistance, reconnaissance assistance, surveillance assistance. The max airspeed is 388 km per hour. Max range from where to where it can travel 11,112 km, pretty decent. And then max endurance is of 40 hours. Max altitude is more than 40,000 feet MSL. So what can happen? Prelims question can be based on certain facts. So you have to remember them. All right. Moving ahead, if we talk about the other important things that it can do humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, law enforcement, places where policemen cannot reach. Through drones, we can take care of law enforcement as well. Search and rescue, border enforcement as well, defense counter-air, airborne early warning. Missions in which it can be used: electronic warfare, anti-surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, airborne mine counter measures, etc. 2 pilots we need in ground station, and weapons it can have is laser guided missile, anti-tank missiles and anti-ship missiles as well. Payload capacity is of 2,177 kg. So these kind of questions could be asked in your preliminary examination. Now, as I told you that Iran has Karar, its first armed drone, which was unveiled in the year 2010. Israel, countries like Israel do not publicly acknowledge that they are using drones, but the Israeli Heron drone is very important. China has its own stealth armed drone, which is by the name of Sharp Sword. And UAE has purchased Wing Loong 2 from China in 2017. So these are the kind of questions you have to remember, the drones and important drones specifically, and that too specifically of the drones which are of neighboring countries from India, and if India is acquiring some drones. So with respect to the pyramids, which of the statements given below is not correct? Alright. Pharaoh Khufu began the first Giza pyramid project. The pyramids stand for glorification of life after death. Pyramids are found only in Egypt, and the pyramids of Giza are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So, Pharaoh Khufu of the 4th dynasty of Egypt did begin the first Giza pyramid project. That is definitely correct. The pyramids actually are a tomb which is a resting place for kings. So, this is the glorification of life after death. Even after death, the king should remain in a very royal chamber. So, second is also correct. Pyramids are not only found in Egypt. The maximum amount of pyramids are actually found in the country of Sudan, which is to the south of Egypt. And the pyramids of Giza are a part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1979. So, first, second, fourth, these are correct. But third is not correct, that is C. C will be the correct answer. And now Prime Minister has visited the iconic pyramids, Great Pyramids of Giza. That is why we are asking you this question. And it is actually situated, the Great Pyramids of Giza, in the Giza necropolis, which is in just few miles from the city of Cairo, the capital of Cairo. And these are one of the 7 wonders of the world, that is for sure. And these are the only surviving wonder of the ancient world. Other than this, in 1979, they became a part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. These are the Great Pyramids of Giza. And it was started by the Egyptian kings of 4th dynasty. Khufu started it. Other than that, Khafre and Menkaure. So, 3 pyramids majorly are the main important, you can say, sites in the pyramids of Giza. We also have the Sphinx, the Great Sphinx over there. And the thing is that it's such a beautiful, a scenic beauty, these pyramids. That is why it was supposed to be visited by the Prime Minister. And the Arabic name for the pyramids of Giza is Ahramat al-Giza. Okay, so remember that if it could be asked in your preliminary examination. These are a reminder of the ancient Egyptian glorification of life after death. These were built as monuments to house the tombs of the pharaohs, the kings. And the country with the most number of pyramids is Sudan. It has a whopping 200 to 255 known pyramids. There could be unknown as well. Egypt has 138. But we cannot think that these were built by the Egyptian pharaohs who moved to the south, further south. No, it was built by the Kush dynasty. A very important and interesting fact is Lord Ram was considered Ram in the West. Over a period of time, R was dropped and it became Ham, Ham. Ham had two sons, Love and Kush. So it could be a possibility that Kush dynasty stands from there, because from the word love, the dynasty of Lavia, this place, from love we get Lavia, and Lavia became Libya. So you see, this is the cultural connection between India and North Africa. So the pyramids in Sudan were built by the members of the kingdom of Kush, and this dynasty ruled in the Nile River from 1070 BC to 350 AD. And it was built, the pyramids of Sudan were built 500 after the pyramids that were built in Egypt. Both the pyramids, Egyptian and Sudanese, they used to house the kings and the dead. Alright, moving on. Consider the following: glacial melt and sedimentation, embankments, encroachments and deforestation, bank erosion, large number of tributaries. So, how many of the above given are the reason or reasons of floods in Assam? Yes, because Brahmaputra receives a lot of monsoon rainfalls and melting of the glaciers from that as well. They bring a lot of sediment. When a lot of sediment is brought down and silt is brought down, it raises the riverbed and hence causes flood. This is correct. Other human interventions are also responsible for floods, such as building embankments which are breached time and again. See, the silt and sedimentation which is brought down with the help of the river, they create sand islands and people start building their homes on that. So this is another reason that floods are occurring. Deforestation, which actually should catch the soil, it is not there because of the lack of trees. So it is also a reason. Bank erosion is a big cause of flooding there. As banks get eroded, a lot of sediment helps the river to raise the riverbed. It also raises the other parts of the Assam, and that causes a lot of issue for floods. Large number of tributaries. There are over 50 tributaries for both Brahmaputra and Barak River. It also receives water from other states such as Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh. So because it is at the intersection, Assam is at the intersection of so many tributaries, floods are a problem, specifically during the monsoon period. So all four are a part of the reasons. Now the flood situation in Assam, although is gradually improving, but still it is alarming. 2.72 lakh people in 15 districts are affected, such as Bajali, Baksa, Barapeta, Darang, Dhubri, Dibrugarh, Goalpara, Golaghat, Jorhat, Kamrup, etc. The largest state of Northeast India is prone to annual flooding. Approximately 40% of Assam is prone to flooding. Since 2013, it has increased. Brahmaputra begins at Yardlung Sangpo from Chamyangdang Glacier and flows to the southwest of India, like it enters through its southwest course from Arunachal Pradesh as Diang. It enters Arunachal Pradesh as Diang. Gets a lot of water from Subansiri, Manas, Teesta, Dhansiri, Lohit, Dibang, and it has been a reason for flooding because it receives water from so many tributaries. Because of the rocky terrain and glacial origin, the steep slopes also help floods to occur. The river generates massive amount of sedimentation, embankments, encroachment and deforestation have been a reason. Brahmaputra and Barak River have more than 50 tributaries. Other than this, water that it receives from Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh, bank erosion caused by the river Brahmaputra is another problem. Consider the following statements. Mecca lies to the west of Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Medina lies to the north of Tropic of Cancer. Mecca lies to the north of Medina. So these can be confusion questions. How many statements given above is or are correct? Let's see if Mecca lies to the west of Jeddah. Mecca is here, which is lying to the southeast of Jeddah. Jeddah is a port, right? So that is not correct. First statement becomes incorrect. Then Medina lies to the north of Tropic of Cancer. This is correct. This is Medina and this is the Tropic of Cancer. It is lying to the north of Tropic of Cancer. Second statement is correct. Mecca lies to the north of Medina. Let us see. Mecca is actually lying to the south of Medina. So that is not correct. only the second statement is correct. First and third are not correct. One only will be the correct answer. All right. Now, moving ahead. Now, Hajj pilgrim has begun, and it is a process of 5 days. So, we see that Hajj pilgrim, more than 20 lakh people are attending it. It is important for Indian Muslims as well. So, how does it begin? It begins from Mecca, as it has since yesterday. The pilgrims circle the Mecca 7 times. Then they move towards Mina to read the Quran. Then from Mina, they move towards the valley of Arafat, and there they also have a place so that they can show their love for the Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad served his last sermon in Arafat Valley. Alright, then they move towards Muzdalifah. They pick up 49 rocks to throw at the devil, and then they do it towards the stone, which actually symbolizes the evil or the devil. Then they move towards Mina and finally towards Mecca, and they circle the Mecca 7 times. This is the process of the Hajj. Which among the following is the theme for the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking 2023? Let's help the abused, caution and assistance. Drugs and destiny, let's change ours. People first, stop stigma, discrimination, strengthen prevention. A drug addict is a loss for all of us. So, the correct answer is option C. People first, stop stigma and discrimination, strengthen prevention. Alright, today is the World Drug Day or International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. The basic aim is to strengthen action and cooperation in achieving a world which is free of drug abuse. Also, International Conference on Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking took place in 1987 on June 26th. It was decided or recommended that this day should be observed annually as a day to make the society free of drug abuse. So, the United Nations General Assembly met on December 7th, 1987 to declare June 26th for the same reason. Why was this date chosen? Because the abolition of opium commerce in Human, Gangdang province by Ling Siu took place on this particular day. The event occurred in 1839, just a few days before the outbreak of the first opium war in China. Moving on. The theme is people first, stop stigma and discrimination, strengthen prevention. Which of the following cities has achieved the Guinness World Record for largest gathering in one place on Yoga Day? That means the largest gathering should happen at one place. The correct answer to this question is option C, Surat. Prime Minister has congratulated Surat over this achievement. Now, if you want the PDF of this class, you can join my Telegram channel, which is by the name of Pooja Dwivedi, StudyIQ UPSC. If you have any question related to UPSC, you can talk to me on my Instagram as well. Thank you so much for watching.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।